Yeah, that's funny. Um, so these are the drug cartels, China powder. China counterfeits these pills. Um, they're made in Mexico, out in the desert, out in the jungle. They got these big old vats, and they're just cooking this stuff, bunch of chemicals. It's all a lot of nasty stuff. And the problem is that the real ones are oxycodone, Percocets. But when you get a prescription from the doctor, those pills are made in a lab. They're quality assurance tested, right? If it says 30 milligrams or 10 milligrams or 20 milligrams or 50 milligrams, that's exactly what it is. The counterfeit ones, it could be 1,000 milligrams. That's the problem. So that pill right there, if you gave me $1 million, I wouldn't smoke that pill. My luck, I got the worst luck ever. It's gonna be a hot pill. It's gonna be a pill that has the strength of 20, 30, 50 pills. If you have low tolerance, you're gonna pass away. So these pills, what they do, they're synthetic opioids. They numb you. They make you go to sleep. I've seen people, they smoke them, and then they just start dozing off. Right? You guys seen them in the corners, right? They're just, what is happening to this person? It's like they're in slow motion, like a zombie, you know? And they're coming across the border every single day by the ton load. That's why they're so cheap, unfortunately, right? That's so bad. When I ask young people, who introduced you to these pills? My friend, my boyfriend, my brother, my dad. Where do you buy them? Snapchat, school, middle school, high school. Why do you use them? It was peer pressure. I want to be cool. I know now, looking back, I shouldn't have, but when I tried them, I liked them because it made me feel the pain I was feeling, it numbed it. Now, 6 months later, 3 months later, a year later, I consume these pills because I have to, because my body needs them. If I don't consume them, I start getting sick. Withdrawals. Describe your withdrawals. My bones start hurting, my muscles hurt. I start boogers and this, everything just starts popping out, you know. And so I don't want to feel that way. I need to smoke the pill. How often? As often as I can. What's the most you've ever smoked in a day? 50. Some other person said 100. I've had a few people say 150. I didn't do 200 because I didn't have enough money to buy 200 pills. Damn. When they buy so much, they get like a discount. So but because there's so many pills out there, you know, that it's okay if one falls on the ground, I guess. And so these are the stories that I'm seeing out there. But once in a while, there's good stories. There'll be people that change their life. So I was gonna bring Victoria. Gosh, I wish I could. I was gonna bring Victoria. Victoria, she got sick today. I interviewed Victoria a year and a half ago. She was out there in the street. She's like this. I thought she was really young. Back then she was 18, 19. I go, how long have you been on the streets? She said, about a year. And she got arrested. She went to jail for a month. That cleaned her up. When she got out of jail, her mom picked her up, and she's been sober for over a year now. So you can beat it. It's just really hard, according to what they say. The stories that they tell me, it's really, really hard. So it's better not to try it, because you're gonna get a pill that's gonna kill you, or you're just gonna be really hard to get off of it, you know? So just don't try it, right? Prevention through awareness, right? Let's prevent these people from trying the damn thing, so then we don't have to worry about treating them and helping them. And it's cool that I'm talking to a bunch of nursing students, because you folks are gonna see these people at at your, at the hospital. So I know a nurse that works at Banner Estrella. Oh, yeah, I know that person. I know that person that you talk to. We kind of don't like dealing with them because they feel entitled. They get angry. They get mad. When it's super cold outside, they come in here just to warm up, and they get angry and very hostile. And so they kind of don't like dealing with them because it's like a revolving door, So when we go to the hospital, it's like a 4-hour wait, because they're tending to, some of these folks. So those are the stories from nurses at Banner. I interviewed a nurse at a hospital here in Phoenix, and she was in the NICU. She's assigned to the NICU, right, for little babies. She wanted to share what she sees when these mothers are having these kids, and they're addicted to these pills. The babies are born. The babies are born, and as soon as the baby is born, boom, they're gone. The mom gone. She leaves because she's chasing that pill, and she's describing the pain of these children, the cries, They can't really treat them a whole lot. I think they give them morphine, a little bit of morphine, but even that's kind of dangerous because they're so little, I've interviewed about 10 pregnant women, 9 months pregnant, 4 months pregnant, 5, I've interviewed a pregnant lady in Albuquerque, many pregnant women here in Phoenix. And it's really sad, right? We say, what's the love of there's nothing stronger than the love of a mom for her child, right? Well, here are these moms and their child, unborn child, and they're consuming that. So, it's tough. It's really hard to think about that. There are success stories. My barber, Billy, I didn't interview him, but I met him a year after he was sober. He's sober now 3 years. He would tell me stories about how he was out there in the streets and trying to survive and chasing that pill. So these folks that are out there, that's all they think about. They're consumed with thoughts of how to make money, how to get these pills, because these pills, the high lasts about 15 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe an hour. So they're constantly, that's why they need so many pills, because after it wears off, I'm starting to hurt, starting to get into pain. So they're not doing it to get high anymore. They're doing it to keep the pain away. So yeah, those, some things for you guys to think about. I'm trying to think of other success stories, but some stories are more impactful than others. I interviewed Jesus about 2 years ago. He's from Tucson, but he came to Phoenix because the drugs are cheaper here in Phoenix than they are in Tucson, which is odd to think. You'd think they would be cheaper down there, but Phoenix is the cheapest place. I've interviewed people from Michigan, Washington, Florida. I go, what are you doing here? It's cheaper here. I was doing blues in Michigan, but they cost $20 over there. I come to Phoenix, they're 50 cents or $1. So that's why I'm meeting a lot of people from different states. I've met a lot of people that do not speak English. I met Muhammad last week, barely speaks English, out there doing blues. I met some guy from El Salvador, does no English. Those folks usually don't want to talk to me because I think their family made arrangements, paid a lot of money to get them here so they could work, and they're not working. They're out there in the streets. So I'm meeting folks from all over the world, and they probably come here for a better life, and they end up stuck in this life. So people ask me all the time, Art, you started this November of 2020. Are things getting better, getting worse? They're getting worse. More people on parks, younger people at the park. I've seen families at the park. I've seen people living in their vehicles at the park. That's bad. So I don't have any answers. I don't know why, right? I don't know how to fix it. I don't have any solutions, right? I'm just kind of relaying what I'm seeing out there, right? It's really dangerous, right? I've had people not be nice. You got people that don't want to talk. You got the dealers that don't want, these videos out there because they're gonna lose money, or the police will be more informed. Speaking of police, I've had detectives reach out to me, so I know police watch these videos. They'll reach out to me and say, hey, I'm Detective John with the Phoenix Police Department. You interviewed this person a couple months ago. We're looking for her because she was in a robbery. Have you seen her? So again, it's really interesting how different people reach out to me, just different people reach out. Business owners, they'll watch my channel because people go into their shop, take stuff, and so they're kind of on these videos. A lot of people they share their story, and so I'll have business owners. Home Depot Loss Prevention watches my channel because they're keeping an eye on the people that go into their store. So it's really interesting how different sections of society intersect on the channel, right? So very interesting indeed. Open it up for questions really quick, and then maybe I can show you guys. So I can't log into my channel, and if I was able to log in my channel, I'd click on names and it goes specifically to that video, but because it's just YouTube in general, I have to scroll down. So I can kind of scroll down on the videos and then kind of talk about them a little bit. Does anybody have any questions right now for me?
While doing your interviews, has there ever been like a situation where your safety was compromised, or you just felt like your safety was compromised? And if so, like what motivated you to keep going back?
Awesome. So I'm gonna repeat the question. Okay, so what was your name?
Tasia.
Kaja? Taja. So thank you for asking the question, Taja. Taja asked, have I ever been in danger? People wanted to fight me. Some guy pulled out a knife. So I was in the military. That doesn't make you Superman, but so when I go out there, I think people they know I have good intentions. I'm not trying to harm them or get them in trouble or anything. I'm really trying to capture their story to help. But you'll have aggressive people. One time some guy stole my phone. I had to go chase him. That wasn't, yeah, that was like 5 months ago. So I hadn't ran that fast in a long time, right? But I got caught up to him, and I put myself in those situations. I try to de-escalate and avoid conflict. Obviously, I'm gonna protect myself. Obviously, I don't want to harm anybody. Also, I keep in mind, Tasia, that these folks, they're not being rational. They're not thinking the way you and I would be thinking. So I need to keep that in mind. That guy that took my phone, it was hard for me to remember that. I just wanted my phone back. So yeah. So it is dangerous. I would not advise people to go out there and do that because it is dangerous. I avoid crowds. I approach people when they're like alone or like a couple. But when it's a crowd, I don't approach crowds because they become very belligerent and they feel tough because there's a bunch of them. So I'm very self-aware, and I keep myself safe for sure. Great question.
Is there something in that environment that is like a possible solution for improvement
What was your name?
Isabella.
Isabella, that's my daughter's name. Are you with the Z or S?
And S.
Well, she's with the Z, yeah. Cool name, I love it. Are there like solutions out there that I'm seeing out there?
If there is some, what do you think could be more solutions to help improve it?
Gosh, that's tough. That's a tough question. We need to start talking to elementary kids. So I'm 49 years old, so I remember DARE program, brand new, 1980, whatever that was, 85 or whatever, right? Little kid, DARE, right? Drug Awareness Resistance Education, right? Nancy Reagan, you guys know who that is? The wife of President Reagan back in the 80s, right? You guys remember. I know. So she said, just say no. That stuff to me, it made sense, right? Like, damn, like, yeah, drugs are bad. That made sense to me. But there's some people that I don't know if they're rebellious. I don't know if that, I don't know. Just different people make different choices. And how do we help them? By educating them, right? You guys are receiving an education right now, right? Different backgrounds, different this, different that. But you guys are making this choice to be here as opposed to the people that I'm interviewing, right? They're your age, right? I've interviewed people from 15. That little boy, I didn't interview him, but I've seen him. I saw him smoking. But the youngest interview was 15. The oldest was like 72, and every age range in between. I'll ask them, what caused you to come out here, or what could have been done to prevent this? Some of them mentioned, I wish somebody would talk to me before. What about your parents? They weren't around, they were working, or there's, I'm in the system. I was in the system at a young age. I think it's like, for example, when I interview folks, they get arrested, they go to jail, they get housed, and they get released the next day or a week later. While they're being housed, nothing's happening. No treatment, no therapy, no nothing. That's a miss for us as a society. We should mandate treatment. It should be mandatory. We're not doing that. Why? I don't know. In Mexico, when they see people battling addiction, over there, it's not optional if you want. They mandate that you go in. It's not if you want. You're gonna go into a treatment facility and it's like jail. You can't get out until you complete it 6 months later or a year later. Here, everything is optional if we want. That's not really working for us. I've interviewed people. I've been to treatment center like 50 times. So at some point, I think we need to change the laws a little bit. We need to change the way we deal with this, So if I had like a wand, those are some of the things I would do. You just mandate it. It's gonna happen. And some people are like, well, if they really don't want to, then you can't force them, which I understand, right? You have to want something in order for you to go through with it. But I think if the state mandated it right at the beginning, I think maybe it'll start making sense for them later on when they're more clear-headed, clear-minded, right? It'll start clicking, be like, okay, cool. 3 months into this mandated program, I'm liking it, because they're being taught something. Another thing is I'm running into a lot of young people that have zero coping skills. They can't say no. They want to be cool. Trauma at a young age, right? Especially girls, trauma. Physical, mental, emotional, sexual, at home, the parents, the family, whatever, they have a trauma and they use these substances as a numbing agent to numb that pain the pain subsides, goes away with these pills. So I've heard that a lot from usually the women, young girls. So so yeah, great question. You know, I'm looking for that magic wand. Any other questions? Yep.
What was the most difficult story you heard from someone?
What was your name?
Jordan.
Jordan asked, what is the most difficult question I've heard from somebody? So it's like so I do YouTube lives with so I have 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. I have 400,000 subscribers on TikTok. They'll ask me that question, and then I'm like, dang, you know what? Like, it's like you're asking me, out of your two kids, which daughter's your favorite, right? And so I try not to. So I mean, I'm pretty good about remembering their names and their stories. I'm really good about that, which is kind of odd because I have a bad memory. But when it comes to this, because you're passionate about it, like I remember. So they all leave a lasting impact on you, but one of the saddest ones, I'll give you three. I'll give you the reasons. Blake, 21 years old. I met him when he was 20. He passed away. I knew him the last 6 months of his life. So I was driving. I looked to my left, and I see it was hot. It was like May. He had no shirt. He reminded me of a concentration camp person. I could see every bone. Did a U-turn. What is going on, dude? What's happening, man? My name is Art Castro, Lost in Phoenix. You ever heard of Lost in Phoenix? I interview folks that are out here. Are you homeless? He had some type of obstruction in the back of his throat. It was really hard to understand him. Come to find out, he had underlying medical issues, a lot of medical issues. And that infection that he had in the back was how his conditions are getting worse. And told me a story. He's from Yuma, Arizona. He's been here a couple years, been doing blues for a few years. His boyfriend is doing blues. And he knew that his time on earth was limited. He wanted to go out on his terms. That's what it looked like. Looking back, that's why. The Lost in Phoenix family, the subscribers, we got him a room for a few nights. He hadn't slept in a bed in, he said, like 6 months. He had been sleeping just wherever, just behind a bush, behind a building, dumpsters. So we got him a room, got him some clothes, so he could shower, food. Dude, do you want to go to the hospital? No hospital. No, dude, what about your obstruction? You can't breathe. It's really hard for you to swallow. That's why you're losing weight, because you're not eating. No, definitely no hospital, no ambulance, no police. They all say that, all of them. And so got him a room, let him know that people love him, people are praying for him, trying to pump him up, let him know that you're cared for. We're getting to know you, but you're loved, right? His mom abandoned him. It was him and his mom out there in the streets. Him and his mom. She abandoned him. She went to Denver. He was crying, sad. What are you sad for, dude? My mom left me. Sad, crying. Hey, Lost in Phoenix family, we got to get him a ticket to go to Denver. We did. We got him a ticket. Tomorrow I'm gonna pick you up, dude. We're gonna get you home with your mom. You miss your mom. got the ticket, picked him up, took him to the Greyhound station on Washington and 24th Street. I took him, drove him, watched him get in the bus. I left. He walked off when I left. He walked off the bus. So I found out the next day because my subscribers, hey, I thought you said Blake is in Denver. Yeah, I saw him get on the bus. Dude, he's over here. I just saw him right now. So here I go look for him. Dude, what happened? Addiction. That's what happened. So he called me when he was in the hospital. I wanted to talk to him, and 2 weeks later he passed away. Those underlying medical issues, plus the heat, homeless, not eating, not sleeping, 21 years old, gone. Martin, 37-year-old man in a wheelchair, from Pennsylvania. Him and his wife are out there combined. I think they have like 5 kids together. His legs swollen, underlying medical issues, open sores, flies, worms on the gashes. Do you want me to call? I'll take you to the hospital, dude. I'll call the ambulance. No. Just like Blake. Under no circumstance are you to call the police, the ambulance, or the hospital. So we got him a room because he hadn't slept in a room and slept in a bed in forever. Got him a room. Show him people love you, people believe in you. I was talking to him for the last 2 months of his life. When I still have his voicemail, he called me. His voicemail is on my phone. Art, it's Martin. I'm at the hospital. I need to talk to you. I go to the hospital. I made a video. He's like this. He's restrained, and they got all kind of stuff attached to him. So again, underlying medical issues, plus these pills, not eating, not sleeping. My subscribers, we bought him a new wheelchair. The wheelchair that he had before, like the wheel was jacked up, so we got him a brand new wheelchair. But I went, and I didn't talk to him in person, unfortunately. And like 2 days later, he passed away. They couldn't bring him back. What was happening was his organs were shutting down. Very similar to Blake. His organs were shutting down because he had infection in his legs, and that probably got to his heart and stuff, and sepsis, right? Quizzing you guys, So passed away, and gone. I interviewed him. I interviewed him 2 years ago. 2 years prior to that, I didn't recognize him because the first time I interviewed him, he was standing up. He had a little bit more weight on him, and now in those 2 years, he had deteriorated so much. And plus, he changed his name. Right, the first time he was his real name, Jonathan, and the second time he changed to Martin. So if you get a chance, go to my channel and try to look up Blake and Martin. You'll kind of see those stories, right? And the one that's impactful right now is Carla. Carla, she is 20 years old, but she looks like she's 14. She looks really young. She has a baby face. I drove her, so I've been talking to her for a year and a half. I drove her to detox 2 weeks ago. I've driven like 6 people to detox. The problem is they don't stay for a long time. That's the problem, because it's not mandated. It's up to them. So she stayed for 10 days, but when she got out, she was like, I didn't like being away from that pill for 10 days. So she's out in the streets again, waiting for her boyfriend, her 26-year-old boyfriend. He's locked up. He's been in there locked up for a couple months. I think he's gonna get released like in July, maybe sooner. She was staying with the aunt. The Lost in Phoenix family, very supportive to her, buying her clothes and food. But addiction, people that are battling addiction, they're gonna get better on their terms. Not when I want, not when their mom wants, not when the police want. It's when they want. So those are a few of the many stories I can go on and tell you. Okay, so great question. Anybody have another question? Yeah.
With everything you've like heard and seen, how do you cope with it? I know you probably take some of that with you. How do you cope with it?
Great question. Jordan asked, with everything you've seen, how do you cope with that? So I think I have my personality is well suited, right? Kind of like doctors and police. They see a lot of crazy stuff every single day, so they have to stay balanced and not take that home, because you'll just go cuckoo, right? So I have that same approach. So like the stories I just told you, Blake's, Martin's, Carla's, I detach myself. I care about them as human beings, right? They deserve dignity, respect, and I try to assist them as best as I can. But my emotional investment is gonna be minimal for my sake. Does that make sense? So that's what I do. I have really good coping skills. That's why I'm able to say no to bad stuff. So good questions. Anybody else?
I was just curious, when you approach these individuals out in the street, how likely, out of all the ones that you approach, are they really open to talking to you, or do you get a lot, or like, hey man, no, like, want to walk away? Like, how open are they to tell their stories?
Yeah, what was your name?
Sandy.
Hey Sandy, thank you for the question. Sandy asked, how open are people when I approach them? So if I was to approach 10 people, 6 of them are gonna say no. So people have ran from me. They think I'm a police officer. I'm like, no, Lost in Phoenix.
I was gonna say, is that pretty well known? If you say I'm with Lost in Phoenix, do most of them recognize that and are like, oh, okay?
I don't want to say most, but people do. Oh yeah. You helped my friend, or yeah, I've heard of you. Yeah, you give out your cards, or you give out little blessing bags, or you know. So I'll ask, and 6 say no. All right, God bless you. You know, just it's okay to say no. But I'm really just trying to capture your story. I'm not gonna make fun of you. I'm not gonna talk crap about you. I want to capture your story, because you wouldn't want your children or your siblings out here, right? Well, I've seen 13-year-olds out here. By you sharing your story, having the courage to share your story, a 13-year-old you're gonna save somebody's life. And that kind of, oh, okay, I see what you're saying, you know, so that kind of helps a little bit.
Are the, I'm just curious, the public schools, do they have you come in and talk to like preschool, middle schools, or is that, and I know you said it's important we start getting into elementary schools.
Yeah. That's a great question. As part of that magic wand, I wish this was mandated curriculum for youngsters at a young age, but it's not. I spoke to a teacher at a high school in North Phoenix, invited me to speak to her sophomore class, but she had to kind of sneak me in, you know, because it's a tough topic. It really is. But that's why we need to talk about it, because these people are literally dying. Gabby, 22-year-old Gabby, passed away. overdosed. Her mom contacted me, said, hey, my name is Manuelita, something like that. I'm the mother of Gabby. And her brother Sabas, you've interviewed him too. So you have multiple kids out there that I've interviewed. But Gabby has passed away. I just want to give you a heads up. Also, is it possible for you to, I have a GoFundMe, is it possible for you to share that with your subscribers? Because I don't have any money to bury her. So we raised $2,500 to bury her. So you got to use that platform for good, whether that's for a wheelchair, to bury people, but these are 22-year-old people, 21-year-old Blake. Instead of being in class with your peers, right, for a future for tomorrow, I visited them at the cemetery. That's insane, huh? That's insane to think about, you know? So odd. When I was a kid, homeless, to me, when I was a kid, it was like 60, 70-year-old, we used to call them hobos, winos. They were just drinking. Hey, can you get me a beer? Back in the 80s. Never saw young people out in the street, ever. Now it's commonplace. So common that we're okay with it. We're so common that we're too afraid to talk about it as a society. What in the heck is going on? Oh, we can't talk about that because we're going to offend the school, the kids of this. So that would be part of my magic wand. It's going to be mandated curriculum for starting at a young age. No drugs, no drugs, no drugs.
Do you have any advice for the families? I think I saw one of your interviews with Carla and her brother, who hadn't seen her for 2 years.
Yeah. What was your name?
Karen.
Karen, thank you. Great question. So Karen asked, do I have any advice for her family? Because you watched a video where I interviewed Carla's brother, Ken. He hadn't seen her in 2 years. So my advice to family, get along with each other, love each other, try to help and support each other. So that family, Ken, and he has 3 younger brothers and Carla. So it's Ken, he's 22, Carla's 20, and then Alex 19, and then 2 younger ones. Okay? The mom was deported to Mexico because of whatever she did like 3 years ago. The dad was deported 10 years ago because of God knows whatever he did. No parents anymore. But when he was 15, he went to live with his girlfriend's family. 15. So that was, 6, 7, 8 years ago, whatever. What's happening at that time? What dysfunction? What's happening with the mom, the family, and what trauma was so bad that he had to leave at 15 with the, right? And then Carla, what is she seeing? That trauma that she's trying to numb right now? What did she see? What did she experience? So as families, we're not perfect. We don't have a mom and a dad. We don't have, this and that, but we need to support each other, love each other. Why had it been 2 years that he hadn't seen her? They're both in Phoenix. I don't know. But definitely support each other, love each other, be there for each other. When somebody's going through this stuff, don't throw them away. Be as supportive as you can. But Art, I don't want to, what's that word? When you enable, and I don't want to enable people. I don't want to enable them. It's a slippery slope, and I can understand that. Where does support end and enabling start, right? I would say help them as much as possible. Hey, Carla, you might not be ready for treatment today, but just know that you can count on me for food, for support, so that when you are ready, you can call me and I'll take you, So the Lost in Phoenix family prays for these people. I pray for them. I want them to do good. All these folks. But when that structure isn't there, that discipline isn't there, the structure, the love is not there, it's easy for them to go out to the streets because the love is there. Love, like their version of love, which to us would be foreign, right? Because a lot of them gravitate towards the streets because they think there's loyalty and family and love, and people aren't gonna reject them because those are the rejected. So the rejected aren't gonna reject me, even though my mom rejected me, society, the school. So there's a lot of trauma like that, family stuff, you know? So I think going back to schools, we need to equip teachers with, they're gonna have to wear two hats, social worker and educator, right? Because at some point, Carla was in school, Blake was in school, Martin was in school. How do you notice that and go a different route, helping them, right? To deal with that trauma. It's tough. I don't have the answers, but I'm just, you know what it is I'm able to put it all together because I'm hearing a lot of the similar things from different people, you know? It's tough.
I was just gonna ask, how can we as members of this community, since this is such a big epidemic, how can we support, I guess, your cause without, going on the streets with you, helping interview? Like, what's a way that we can help support your mission?
So I have subscribers from all over the world. So it's really cool. I've done like donation drives, food and clothes drives, and I'll get like a box from Scotland, like clothes and toiletries from Scotland. Like, dang, that costs like $300 just to send it over here, But it's the heart, right? These people have never been to America, never been to Phoenix, never gonna come. But they see the humanity, right? It's our brothers and sisters that are out there that are suffering, that are going through this. It's hard for us to understand, but it's happening. And when people say, it's not my family, I'm good, my family's good, I don't have to worry about it. When your kids go to school, they might see this, they might interact, their friends, So it's really important to be to educate ourselves, be more aware of what's going on. So this is part of it right here. I think this is part of it. You're becoming aware, and then you'll go to the Lost in Phoenix on YouTube and subscribe, because the YouTube algorithm really likes that. So it promotes these videos more. So every time it promotes, somebody might be saved.
So
share the videos. Talk to your family, your coworkers, your children. Just send it to them, because I can't tell you how many parents, hey Art, my name is Carmen. I'm in California. I'm a single mom of 3. Me and my husband got divorced. It's just me raising these 3 boys. They're at that age, Art. I have them sit down and watch your videos to educate them, prevention through awareness, because I don't want my child to be out there. I'm working so much that I can't, it's not that I'm neglecting them, it's just I don't have enough time. I got to pay the bills. So I watch your channel as I watch these videos with my kids, so that, to give them a little bit of understanding what's out there, the dangers, So it's that's exactly what this channel is intended to be: prevention through awareness. That has made me feel so good. When I was starting it, I didn't think it would get to this point. I never thought I'd be talking to nursing students, but again, we're all human, and we feel that connection to the people we see out here in the street. So great question, thank you. Got a question?
While you there talking to the people, do you see any strategies or approach from other programs who are doing outreach to these people that excite you about it, that you see as a potential way to solve the problems you are seeing? You say from 2020 until now, things have gotten worse, but are there any light at the end of the tunnel?
What is your name? Peter? So Peter, great question. Thank you for asking, Peter. Peter asked if, while I'm out in the streets, if I see any type of outreach to help. Is there light at the end of the tunnel in the past 3.5 years, right? So there is a light. It's just a little dim. It's bleak, you know. I see lots of churches out there on a weekly basis, on weekends, go out there, serve food, right? Donate clothes, water. It's getting hot, so a bunch of water is being donated right now. Lots and lots of churches. I don't see a lot of government programs out there. I see a lot of churches. Hispanic churches, black churches, white churches, just people out there, just churches, their church, their beliefs. It's really cool. That's community. That's grassroots level, right? Where's the government at? I don't see them, unfortunately. This state had a governor's race like 2 years ago. I sent out an email to all the candidates back then. Can't remember all of them. Hobbs, Lake, this one dude, can't remember his name, and this other dude. So like four people. Only one replied. Okay, only one replied. Hobbs didn't reply. The two other dudes didn't reply. Carrie Lake did reply, so I interviewed her. How are you going to tackle this issue? She had the courage to say how she's going to tackle it. I've sent a lot of emails to legislators. 10, only one replied. So I went to the Capitol to talk to that legislator. Like, what's happening? What's going on? Politicians don't really want to talk about it. Why? Because they don't have that magic wand. They don't have the answers. Politicians don't like hard questions. They like easy questions, right? And so that's kind of why they avoid me. So it's like, it's like they don't want to see it, but we see it, we feel it. So it's gonna have to be more grassroots stuff, more grassroots, us. If we're waiting for the cavalry, it's not coming. It's gonna have to be us, That's why I don't know what the answer is. Damn, it's gonna continue to accelerate at this pace. It's getting bad. Just people dying. I'm at the point of where I'm like, all right, today is April 15th, 2023. I don't want anybody calling me about bad news. Somebody passed away, somebody's in the hospital, somebody's missing. Hey, you interviewed my daughter 6 months ago. Have you seen her? She hasn't shown up. She usually shows up. I haven't seen her. Lots of trafficking out there. Lots. Just gone. Right now, the city of Phoenix is understaffed by about 500 police officers. Okay? 500 police officers have left or retired early. Defund the police. Police are bad. All that. They're like, you know what? I'm out of here. I don't get paid enough to get it. So now we're dealing with it. That's why I go out there. These folks are in broad daylight, foil, smoking, selling, buying. They go into stores, take stuff, and then they sell it. Boosting. How do you make money? Boosting. What's boosting? I go into Walgreens. I go get the most expensive stuff that's not locked up. Detergent. There's detergent for $20. I'll sell it for $5 or $10. So then we got to pay higher prices for stuff, basic stuff. So when you think you're not affected, you really are. Good question.
How often do you go out there to interview people?
Every day.
Every day.
So I have a full-time job. So sometimes I have to take breaks. It's a lot. My phone is. So many people reach out to me. It's like I need an assistant. Like, golly, really, people email me all the time, text me all the time, call me all the time. Sometimes I had to take a time out. So I took a little sabbatical for 2 weeks recently. I was in Bakersfield, but even in Bakersfield, I interviewed. So 2 weeks ago, I was in Bakersfield, and it's bad over there. It's bad in Albuquerque. It's bad. I was on vacation in Hawaii. I interviewed a lady doing meth. Kapeka, 36 years old. You ever heard of blues over here? Do you guys have blues? No, what is that? Counterfeit fentanyl pills. I don't know what that is. Here it's called clear meth, she said. Anywhere I go, there's addiction to crap, you know? So when I'm done here, I got appointments as well with people. Hey, I'll talk to you. Hey, let's connect. Let's get your story. So yeah, this weekend I interviewed like 11 people. I can interview every day for the next 2-3 years. Every day will be a new person. That's sad because they have moms, dads, kids. And so it's not just that one person. It's a whole family affected by that addiction. Heartbreak. Can't tell you how many moms I've seen out there crying, looking for their children. So heartbreaking, man. That's sad. So people ask me, one of the number one questions I get is, Art, why did you do this? Did you used to battle addiction? The only thing I'm addicted to is tacos. I love tacos, right? Tuesday is my favorite day of the week, right? But I've never done drugs because I have great coping skills. Nancy Reagan, just say no, hell. And I've always been kind of like a leader, never a follower, right? I don't do what other people want. I do what I want to do, right? Some people don't have that mentality, that mindset. My brother, though, same environment, same upbringing, same everything the same. He just chose to consume meth. Right? So it's not a color thing, it's not a poor thing, a rich thing, this, that, mom and a dad. Sometimes it's just a choice thing. You just sometimes we mess up and make the wrong choice, right? We make the wrong choice sometimes, right? So for years, it's so interesting to think about that because when I go back into my little memory bank, you know how I dealt with that, his addiction? I ignored it. I used to call him names. Not good, not nice names, right? I wasn't supportive because I could not understand why in the hell you would try that crap, right? So he would leave the house and there goes my mom chasing after him at 10, 11, 12 at night looking for him, going into crack houses and all this stuff. My mom coming home crying, sad, and here I am mad because I don't understand why he's putting my mom, his kids, through this crap. And I think that's the sentiment from a lot of people. We just don't understand it because we never lived it. We just don't understand it because we just can't comprehend why you would do that. So 9 months of being locked up is what got him turned around. 9 months. And 4th Avenue jail, 9 months. No treatment, no meetings, no mandate. Just locked up. You're gonna serve your time for whatever you did. So sometimes jail is a blessing, you know? He's been out, 6-7 years clean. He's a foreman as an electrician, doing good. So there is hope in recovery. These people aren't totally lost, right? Where there's hope, there's life. You know, so I see that from my personal viewpoint. So if now that I know this and that I'm doing this and kind of understand a little bit more, I think my approach, especially with family, would be different because I'm more equipped. But who is equipping us, right? Who would have told me how to deal with addiction? Nobody. Just Nancy Reagan said, just say no. All right, Nancy, what about if somebody says yes? Like, how do you deal with, how do you deal with that? We don't talk about it. It's just a foreign concept to us, right? So we like passing the buck. We're kicking the can down the road. And here we are dealing with it. Interesting, right?
So in regards to safety, where's the line between safety and not rejecting them because they are human and they are people and they are struggling? And like you said, it is out in the open. It's at your Circle K. It's happening at the park. Like, it's all around us.
Yep.
So how do we, I guess, address or support or acknowledge them as humans without compromising our own safety?
Yeah, great question. What is your name?
Megan.
Megan, great question. I'm not going to repeat the question because you got, boom, you just sound really good. You project really well. I would never sit at a city bus stop. I wouldn't touch that for anything. I know, I've seen pills there, right? I've seen what they do on those benches. The park, I want to let my kids play at the park. I've seen needles, I've seen straws, I've seen aluminum foil. I've seen a lot of nasty stuff down there, you know? But I'm aware of that. We have to protect our family, we have to protect ourselves. In terms of a family member, a loved one that's going through addiction, and your safety is paramount, right? So for example, I've talked to parents, a mom, I had to kick him out. I had to kick out my son, my 20-year-old son, out of the house because I have 2 other little ones. And he just wanted to smoke. They're willing to sacrifice everybody else's health just because of their addiction. They're oblivious. They don't care about anything anymore. So that mom did the right thing. You have to protect yourself, right? So that's what we all have to do that. It's like a slippery slope, right? Slippery slope. At what point are you enabling? At what point are you taking care of yourself and your 2 little ones, your family, right? It's tough. I wouldn't put up with it in my house. I don't care if it's my brother, my mom, my dad, my kid. You can't smoke in here, man. Let's go to treatment. Of course they're going to say no. Let's go to detox. They're going to say no. You can't do it here. So a lot of people that I interview, they say, I stay away from home because I don't want to bring that crap to my mom's house. The smoke, the secondhand smoke, there's danger in that, right? Just recently, we have, how many children have died? The parents go to fall, and they doze off, and these pills are laying around, they put it in their mouth, the child passes away. That happens. So, I think we have to be aware of it, safety, right? And we have to be aware, and that love for your family member, right? But you have to love yourself to keep it at an arm's distance, So something that we all have to deal with individually.
Okay. What percentage would you say of people that you see are from the foster system?
If I interviewed 10 people, I would say 3 or 4 in the foster system. 3 or 4.
How do you think that the foster system itself could improve? Just educating again?
So I ask them that. I'm 18 years old. I've been in the foster system since I was 5. This is all I've known. People adopt me, go back, adopt me, go back, As soon as I turn 18, you're an adult, get out. We need to transition these people. We need to give them coping skills. We need to train them for life. It's not happening. And this is from the people that have been there their entire lives. We're just doing a really poor job, So yeah, I think we need to do better as school and the state, the government that runs that program for adoptions or for taking care of kids, right? It's bad. I just talked to Lorenzo yesterday. Same thing, foster system. I interviewed him for the first time 2 years ago. Here he is still on the street. They don't know anything else. This isn't living for them. This is survival. And it's normal for them. they're okay with it. So I'm like, damn, that's sad, man, you know? I'm like, at 20 years old, what was I doing? 25-year-olds, what was I doing, you know? These people are doing none of that. It's sad.
I remember earlier you were sharing a story of some people got into this because the French gave them a pill or by accident or whatever, and now they take the pill. They have to take it because to prevent the pain. When they're off of it, they begin withdrawal symptoms. So how do we go about this in a way to combat the negative stereotype that can be just kind of they're not able to do this because of they're either weak or because they are not, they don't have a strong constitution like me. How do we follow that bias?
So yeah, kind of like going back to my experience, how do you deal with Peter? How do you deal with the bias that these folks experience from society, right? Judging them, right? Talking crap, calling them names. I think we need to do a better job of educating ourselves, like kind of like me with my brother. I just didn't want to deal with it. My own family, my own flesh and blood. That dude's an idiot. He's a loser. You're doing drugs. You're a crackhead. You're an idiot. What the hell's wrong with you? That was my mindset. I didn't want to understand it. And I think as a society, we don't really want to understand it. Because how do you understand something that you've never gone through? And it's kind of ugly, you know? So we have to have the fortitude, the courage to stand up as a society, as nursing students, as brothers, and say, I'm gonna take it upon myself. I'm not gonna wait for somebody to come talk to me. I'm gonna learn more about it. I'm gonna research it. I'm gonna influence the people that I can, my friends, my family, my coworkers, my peers in school, to talk about it. That's what we have to do. That stigma is there, and they hate that. I've had a lot of people say, thank you for talking to me. People usually don't approach me, they say. They judge me. I haven't showered in 2 months. I know I smell. I would love to shower every day. I don't have clothes. Where do I shower at? So I have to kind of just take a little bird bath, whatever, you know? But I know I'm funky, they say. So people stay away. So that makes me feel like less than human sometimes, you know? And I just remind them that you're human, you're just going through something right now. This chapter in your life doesn't need to define the rest of you, right? You're gonna get better when you wanna get better. Thank you for talking to me. Here's my card. You call me when you're ready to I'll give you a writer treatment, or just call me somebody to talk to. People have called me from jail. Hey Art, this is Gio. I'm calling you from jail. I got in a program. They made a deal with me. They said if I join this program, this treatment program, they'll let me out right now. I'll call you when I get out. I ran into him at the barbershop last year. Gio, what's up, dude? You look good. Gained weight. Yeah, bro, I'm working, bro. Yeah, I'm working, and he's doing good. I want my 2 boys back. So instead of that stigma and Gio's gonna be trash forever and Gio's gonna be a loser forever, Gio decided to take a chance on himself, you know? So we need to do a better job, right? Don't look for, it's us, it's you, it's all of us, right? That need to be more understanding and be more, just better humans, I think. Good question.
I know for me, when I think about like being a part of the change, like the solution, I can get really
really overwhelmed because I start placing all these burdens, like I have to fix all of these systemic issues like from the get-go, and I kind of miss like the small steps of being part of the change that I end up like not doing anything at all because I just get overwhelmed. What would you like recommend for people just as like starting points to being a part of the change? Like what is something just even small that we can start to do just to be a part of the solution rather than like jumping ahead and just thinking that we need to like solve everything?
Yeah, great question. What is your name?
Haley.
Haley? Great question, Haley. So when I at the beginning, right, I told you guys about the people with the backpacks in the corner. I wanted to know what this was. Those are my baby steps. Educate yourself, right? Inform yourself, what the heck is this? Why is this so powerful that they choose this over everything else? Understand it, and I think I have a pretty good understanding. I've been to police department workshops where DEA has one of these and a real one. I couldn't tell. I'm telling you from experience, I couldn't tell the difference. But nobody invited me. I sought that out to be better informed. Just baby steps. So inform yourself about what's happening, right? Doesn't mean you have to go hands-on and go interview people. Just by informing yourself, right? You're doing good because you're going to educate somebody later on. Baby steps. Thank you for having the courage to want to learn more, right? So, thank you.
What's your perspective and possibly some differences you want to see as far as like where resources are placed and funding and like the roles that certain officials play, such as like our education system, government, healthcare, stuff like that.
So that's a great question. What's your name?
Sade.
Sade? Like the singer?
Yes.
Cool. Sade said, basically, how can the government better resources to combat this?
And like where our funding that we already have goes, where we actually see difference.
I'm not going to get political. $100 billion has gone to Ukraine. If I asked you guys in the past 3 years, if I asked you guys a map of the world, most of you would not be able to point out where in the hell on that map Ukraine is at. $100 billion to a country we don't know, we don't care. Well, I can walk out right now and tell you where these people are at. They're dying from this crap right here. Can I get just a fraction of that 100 billion and help the Americans, the veterans out here? The black people, the white people, the Hispanic people, the young people, the old people, sometimes it's politics. They play with us, man, and that upsets me. Because when you hear these stories of these, that could be us. That could be our family. Statistically, some of you folks have family that are battling addiction. Statistically, some of you folks. Statistically, what help are we giving to your family, your friends? Statistically, some of you folks are going to be dealing, especially in the healthcare industry. Susan, she graduated from this program. I've interviewed her twice. She's out there, lost. She is Korean American. Her family, they cut her off. Why are we not helping Susan, your peer? She graduated from this program. She was a nurse. That breaks my heart, man. That breaks my heart. So statistically speaking, some of you, I might interview some of you guys in the future. Not weird to think about? I don't want that to happen, but statistically speaking, there's a Susan in here. So why are we not helping Susan? I know exactly where she's at. She has mental health issues. I asked her, Susan, was it mental health issues first and then addiction made it worse, or was it addiction that caused your mental health issues? She said that she had mental health issues already. She loved her job. She misses her job. But at some point, something happened in her life, trauma, she got triggered somehow and started with drugs, lost her license. She's out there for at least 2 years. I know all this because her friends reached out to me. That's what's so awesome about these videos, the power of social media. Hey, I used to work with Susan. She was an amazing nurse. They email me and they tell me the story, the background, because sometimes these people that I interviewed, they don't give me like the whole background, right? But yeah, that's my friend Susan. Can you tell me where she's at so I can go take her food? I haven't seen her in like 3 years. That's super cool when I'm able to connect people. You know, they're all crying on the phone, you know? So it's a loaded question. I don't have all the answers, but man, if we just paid a little bit more attention to what's happening here instead of, you know, world stuff. So yeah, good question. Follow up.
One more question. And because of your platform, have you been reached out to by, like, let's say, like certain police stations or things like that for resources such as like Narcan or things like that? Like, do you have kind of support in that way, or like people that are willing to help with education on, you know, for example, signs and symptoms of overdose? Like, is there people that, you know, say, hey, like, I'm willing to come out and like educate or, you know, help you with research?